it's Alisha here, and today I wanted to talk about the topic, do I really need to work hard to receive? You probably hear this constantly all the time where we're living in a society where the masculine and alpha energies are valued. So hard work is valued, and someone who doesn't work hard, someone who's lazy is valued less. Or respected less than someone who works hard. And it's been so conditioned in us to believe that, and that's why it's what a lot of people keep seeing in their 3D reality. So to answer this question, do you really need to work hard to receive? The answer really is no. But if you believe that you do have to work hard to receive, then that belief is going to continue to be validated in your 3D reality, because there's a lot of different ways to explain this. You can think of it like your cells are listening to everything that you're saying, and they're holding cellular memory, which then gives off an electromagnetic signal, because our bodies are actually primarily electromagnetic rather than physical, and you're giving off a signal. So if you feel like you need to work hard to receive, the signal that you're sending off, or the message that you're sending to your cells or your body, is that if you don't work hard, you won't receive. Therefore, you are in lack, and you're giving off the frequency of lack. So you're going to receive less than what's actually capable for you to receive if you have that belief. But that's exactly why. If you believe you have to work hard to receive, it's just going to keep being validated in your 3D world, because it's the message that you're sending to your body which is emanating out, and that's what you're going to receive back. If you believe you don't have to work hard to receive, and that life can actually be fluid and effortless and even easy, then that is what you will see. To sum it up easily. So you might ask, how can I release this belief then, if that's what it doesn't just actually have to do with just your belief. It has to do with the state of consciousness that you're in and the frequency that your body is giving off. So you may ask, how can I change the frequency that I'm giving off, or release this belief, this cellular memory that is creating this reality where I have to work hard to receive? So the long way, which a lot of people might tell you, is to say affirmations. Constantly say to yourself every day, look in the mirror, it's easy for me to receive, it's easy for me to receive. Another thing you can do, again, this is the long way, is you can record your own voice saying these affirmations while you fall asleep, or first thing in the morning when you're in the alpha brain state. That's when you receive subliminal messages easier. So when you're kind of relaxed and drowsy, so that's like right before bed or in the morning. But that really is the long way, and that's really more from the mind rather than the heart on how to come into a higher state of consciousness. The easier way, or the shorter way, actually is to get curious. Just ask yourself, what if it didn't have to be this way? What if I could receive things easily? I wonder. You don't even have to answer the question. It's just getting curious about it already changes your state of consciousness, or the frequency that you're giving off, from one of lack to one of curiosity, which is already a higher state of consciousness, which is a real shift where you'll actually see something different in your reality. So get curious and soften more. Like, if you want to receive things easily, you really actually do need to soften and relax and slow down a little bit more. You can't always be on the go, like doing, go. You really, it really requires softening and relaxing, being in the present moment, embracing what is. And another thing you can do is, before you do your go-tos, before you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna work really hard. A lot of people work hard actually to overcome feelings of inadequacy, to overcome, achieve, to make themselves feel better so they don't have to feel their inadequacy. So it's really important to actually tune in before you do your go-tos, before you start working really hard. Tune into your body before you do any of these things, and just feel, why are you doing this thing? Why are you working so hard? Is it fear? It probably is fear. Fear that you won't have what you want if you don't take action, because it's so conditioned in us to believe that, because we live in a society where the masculine alpha energies are valued while the omega and feminine energies are not. And the reason why this works, I've explained this in a couple other videos, it has to do with the state of consciousness that you're in. So I don't know if you've ever heard the saying by Einstein that the solution doesn't exist in the same state of mind as the problem got created. So all of the problems that are showing up in your life, or the things that you feel like are missing, things you want more of, the quote-unquote lack that you're seeing, it's a reflection of the state of consciousness that you're in, the electromagnetic signal that you're giving off, however you want to look at it. The frequency you're giving off, the energy you're giving off, whatever word resonates with you. State of consciousness is just the easiest thing to explain. So if everything that's getting created in your reality is a reflection of your state of consciousness, to actually see a permanent shift, aka to release this belief or this message that you have to work hard to receive, it would require you coming into a different state of consciousness. And the easiest way to do that is to embrace exactly where you are right now, and to soften, relax, be more present rather than suppress, avoid, and create resistance. When you're working hard, and I'll clarify exactly what I mean by working hard, but when you're working hard to overcome feelings of inadequacy or feelings of fear or lack as if you won't have enough, you're just creating more resistance, which is keeping you stuck exactly where you are, and you won't see a permanent shift. You'll just have to keep working hard to receive rather than receive things fluidly and easily and effortlessly, which is actually your natural state. So that's why it works, because when you come into a different state of consciousness, that is where the solution actually exists. It can't physically exist in the same state of consciousness as the problem got created. It has to exist on a different level. So that's why when you find that, when you're in the shower, you come up with the best ideas, or when you go for a walk and clear your mind, or let's say you're working on something and someone's watching you and you can't figure it out because they're hovering over your shoulder. As soon as that person leaves, you're able to figure it out. It's creating a stress hormone when that person is watching over you, or when you feel pressured. But when you're relaxed, that's when you're able to actually figure things out easily, and that's when the great ideas come, and the inspiration and the wisdom and the synchronicities show up. And it's because you are residing at a higher state of consciousness, and how you got there was simply relaxing. That's how important feminine and omega energies are. So it's sad that it's not valued more in this society, but it's because it's in the unseen. People can't really see what you're creating, so it looks like you're quote unquote doing nothing, but you're actually creating so much, and so much more gets created in the unseen than the seen. If you think about it, everything that was created in our world started as a thought, started in the unseen before it got manifested and created in our world. So the unseen is super important, and I wish it was more valued in our society today. But I want to clarify what working hard means, because a lot of people think, I'm not just going to sit around and do nothing. But it's not necessarily the case. Although, sometimes when you sit around and do nothing, as long as you're softening and relaxing, you can receive things easily without you having to do anything. I can't tell you how many times I have done that. I've relaxed and surrendered, and things have gotten taken care of for me, because I'm in a higher state of consciousness where the solution exists, not where the problem exists. But I'm going to give the example of my engineering degree, for example. So I used to think that where I got to today and completing my engineering degree had to do with me working hard. I didn't think that I was naturally smart, and I always thought that's how I got to where I am today, and that's what a lot of other people think too, and they value that. But what I realized is it never felt like hard work. It never felt like effort or a struggle. It didn't feel draining or depleting. It may look like I was working super hard, for 5 years straight, studying pretty much every single day, unless I was working or dancing or hanging out with friends or family. I was studying every single day, all day. But it never felt like an effort or a struggle. It felt like something I wanted to do every single day. I got excited to wake up every day and go to school, and not just to see my friends and to be in the environment, but because I loved what I was studying. As someone who loves math, getting to calculate things pretty much all day, every day was kind of the dream. So it fueled me and it lit me up. It didn't feel draining and depleting. So therefore, quote unquote, I was working hard, putting in a lot of hours, but it didn't feel like hard work. It didn't feel like effort, and it didn't feel like a struggle. So that doesn't mean that, like when I said you don't have to work hard to receive, that doesn't mean that you won't be doing anything and you'll be sitting on your ass and receiving, even though you definitely can. It means that when you're doing what you love and when you're doing things because it brings you joy, that's where the most gets created for you, and that's where you can have all the energy in the world to work hours at a time and not even want to break because you love what you're doing. And so you can call that hard work if you want, but I call it inspired action. So it's like you can call it hard work or you can call it struggle or effort. That's really what I mean by hard work. Life does not have to be like an effort or a struggle. And the things that actually bring you joy will create the most for you rather than the things. Think about it as like the energy you're putting into something. So if you're putting in this frantic energy to, like, let's say, find a new job, and it feels draining and depleting for you to constantly be applying for jobs and like working on cover letters and interviewing, then since that's the frequency you're giving off, that's exactly what you're going to get back. So whatever job you do find, it's probably going to be draining and depleting, and it's not going to light you up. Whereas if you were to apply for a job from inspired action, then you'll be excited to apply for the job because it feels aligned with you, it feels like a yes, and then that job is going to create the most for you. You're going to love that job. It's going to match the energy you put into it when you applied for it. That's just an example right there in terms of jobs. Oh, another thing you can do is create so let's say you have a to-do list. You have a really long to-do list of all these things you feel like you need to do. Take a look at that list, and the things that you want to do, the things that light you up, fuel you, give you more energy, do those first. As my mentor, Dr. Kim Dramo, calls it, she puts the big rocks in first. She does what lights her up first, so therefore she has the energy to do maybe the things that don't light her up as much. So do the things on the list that light you up first, and if there's anything on the list that feels like super heavy lifting, feels like effort or struggle and something you really, really don't want to do, it's not going to create the most for you anyways, especially if you're approaching it with that kind of energy. So see if it's something that you can actually move off your to-do list and move on to the universe's to-do list. For example, if you are wanting a relationship, a lot of people think I need to go out and find that person. I have to, keep getting out of the house. How else am I going to meet someone? People think, which is a very common misconception. So if you were to constantly go out and try to meet someone, you may actually meet someone, but that person may not actually be aligned with you. Whereas if you were to do something that you really enjoyed, you would naturally meet someone who's more aligned with you. So put it on the universe's to-do list to either bring that person to you or to guide you and inspire you to do the things that will lead you to that person. And then on your to-do list is to be open and receptive to love, to have your heart open, to love yourself. There's so many things that you can do, so you don't have to quote unquote sit around and do nothing in order to receive. There's things you can do, but do the things that are in your control and light you up, and the things that feel like heavy lifting or resistance or struggle or effort, move it onto the universe's to-do list. You don't have to do it. It's the same thing with applying for a new job. Instead of frantically applying for 1,000,000 jobs, hoping that you'll find one, what if you let the universe bring that job posting to you? Or a friend tells you about a job posting that's available, or you receive the idea like, hey, I feel like applying for jobs at this company today, or in this team today, or I feel like reaching out to this person. Like, it will feel like inspired action, and then you're gonna receive back the energy you put into it. If it feels inspired, if it feels like a yes, then that job will feel like a yes. So I hope that makes sense. I know we live in a world where hard work is really valued and respected, and it's almost like if you don't work hard, you're considered lazy and less than. And I actually have a separate video about this, about inferiority complex and superiority complex, which I will put a link to, that explains this a bit better, but they're actually the same thing. Someone who feels the need to work really hard is either feeling like they're not good enough, or they're in fear that they're not going to have enough. And someone who has inferiority complex, who maybe is lazy, they also feel like they're not good enough, or they have fear, and that stops them from even starting anything in the first place. But one is not better than the other. They're two people that are holding very similar energies of fear and feeling like they're not enough. So it is really sad that one is valued more than the other, when there really is, one is definitely not better than the other. So I'll put a link to that video in the description. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to be notified the next time I upload a video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.